thunderous clap to kick it off. Oh, the day has come. I'm going to talk about my KEC CQB mod 2.1 exclusively for the Secret Service that I've been told. I don't know anybody else who's been running around with these things, but I'm going to kind of just go down to kind of soup to nuts. But first of all, let's get a weight. Everybody always asks me how much these things weigh fully built out. When these guns first came to us, I think just over 6 pounds, just under 7. Right now, fully built, we are sitting at, ooh, come on, baby. It is 9 pounds, 13 ounces. 9 pounds, 13 ounces. It doesn't feel heavy, man, because it feels solid. I've definitely had some guns in the past. My HK 416 was super heavy. I don't really notice the weight of this. I don't know because of the balance, kind of the weights over the magazine well, whatever. Let's just get into it. What do you think, 30 to 40,000 rounds probably through this thing?
For the course of 3.5 to 4 years.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 years, probably, just call it 40,000 rounds. No barrel swap. I do have a new suppressor, and that is only because my man Manny took this thing on a bunch of range days and let all the boys shoot my gun, and they never cleaned it. We were shooting a bunch of frange ammo, and this thing got so jammed on here we couldn't get it off. We even had the boys from Knights come in town, and they couldn't get the thing off, so we sent it back down to Florida. They ripped it off and sent me a brand new can. So for the last month and a half, I've had a brand new can on it. Outside of that, we haven't done anything to it. The only modifications I have made to it is I dropped the ambidextrous safety for a single. I swapped out my furniture for Magpul, the sucker for Magpul. I've got a BCM Ford grip, mod light flashlight, push button, no pressure pads, my Ingall factory pressure pad, but the 14-inch version, Aimpoint T2 on our Hydra V2 mount, and our flip to center. I actually swapped out for the radiant charging handle just because I'm a sucker for that thing. The one that comes stock on the KEC, you're totally fine. I've just been running these things for so long that I'm a creature of habit, man. So I threw them all in there. Our same sling, all our attachment points, 2-to-1 tri-glide this is from Viking Tactics. But outside of that, boys, this is it. And I'm gonna say something that's gonna piss off the internet. I don't really give a shit. This is my favorite gun I've ever shot. How many years? Three years?
Maybe 3.5?
Call it 3.5 years. I ain't the best at counting. I'm definitely not the best at adding. I've never had a malfunction on it. Never. In total cleanings, I've done 6 total cleanings on this gun in 3.5 years. I mean, I lube it and go, dude, and I don't lube it a lot. And I've ran everything from 77 grain, 70 grain, all the fringe in the world, all the ball ammo, all the weird stuff that people just send us and tell us to shoot. I put everything through it, and it has fired every single round I've ever put in this gun. It's always held 0, and I beat the shit out of these things, dude. I throw them in the box. It's no foam. If you guys ever seen our TSA breakdown videos on how we pack these things when we go on trips, that's part of the T&E. And I know people hate that because these things like unicorns are so hard to come by, but that's just the truth, man. I throw it inside the box, and if the thing breaks inside of the box, inside of what TSA considers safe handling, it's not meant for you. It's not meant for the end user to actually use this gun because it'd be too finicky. And I will say that it's the most impressive gun I've ever shot. I ain't paid to say it. I ain't sponsored by the guys. It's an amazing machine, and as soon as you shoot it, it feels different. Not the lightest gun on the market, definitely not the cheapest or the most easy to find. But for the guys who run KEC, all the guys that are true believers, you guys all get it. It's an amazing machine, man. And for me, because I'm kind of the old school style, the fact it says Stoner rifle on it, I can't get enough of it. We went down, we toured the factory a couple years ago. If you ever get the opportunity to go down the Knights, actually tour that factory, it's one of the coolest things you'll ever see. Second largest gun collection in the world outside of the Queen of England. It takes hours to get through, man. There's not a gun you could imagine. There's not one you could throw out they don't have on the wall or multiple of. And just the entire experience is super cool. But I mean, we ran everything from BCM, SIG, Cobalt, everything else in between, and I keep going back to this as my go-to gun because it feels most natural in my hand. A couple little tweaks we made. You know, I swapped out for the Magpul grips. I really like this rubberized texture. It feels really good in my hand. We talked about the original grips. It's got that old school Colt M4 kind of grip style. To me, it puts my wrist in kind of a weird angle. Nothing you can't get past. Just for me personally, I like more of a vertical grip. Buttstocks, you know, we threw our cheek riser on it. I'm not one way or the other. I like the Magpul furniture, but we've got some new stuff coming from KEC that I'll be break it out later, and I'll show you guys that. But outside of that, man, I've basically been running the same platform for a super long time, the same vertical grip. We just transitioned from the early 2000s on actually using it like a vertical grip with a pressure pad placement to now it's that modified C-clamp, but I keep my hand in the exact same position for a couple reasons. One, this is the exact same thing as my pistol grip, so it feels super natural every time I drive it out. And I mean, out of all the stuff we shoot, this is the one that feels the most natural. So I'm not about to change a single thing of it. With my new build out, I'm gonna take everything off of this gun and I'm just gonna transfer it onto the new system and do the same thing. Gonna do the barrel break in, sight it in, and then I am going to run the absolute hell out of it and see how it holds up. I don't know, Manny, you shot this thing, what do you think?
Oh, it's a great gun. Felt recoil is different. It's weird.
It is,
soft.
it is weird, like it, I don't know if it's a combination of just enough weight. It's not too heavy, it's not too light, but the felt recoil does feel different on this. I mean, everybody that shoots it says the exact same thing. Like they'll shoot a couple rounds or run a mag through it and it's like, it feels different. It does feel different. I don't know, man, maybe one of you gun gurus or one of the guys that reads Guns Weekly can educate me. I don't know why it feels different, but it most certainly does. There are a couple little things. There's a little bit of play in between the upper and lower receiver, like everybody. Outside of, like Cobalt has a crazy lockup. We throw an Accu wedge in there. It cleans that up thing. It cleans that little bit of slop up completely. Take a little piece of Ear Pro and drop it down just underneath the buffer. It'll take a little bit of that up, but I don't notice it at all. But it feels so smooth. It's got a Geissele, or it feels like a Geissele 2-stage trigger. It's KECs, but same as it ever was. Super short reset. I really like that 2-stage trigger. For me, it gives me a little bit of extra control, a little more connection. I know exactly when that shot is gonna break. I can ride it right to the wall. So when I manipulate that safety and I take up that slack and I'm right to the wall, I know it's 1 pound of pressure and the shot's gonna break. And for me, that breeds, confidence in the platform. Every time I drive it out, I know exactly where it's gonna be. It doesn't feel finicky, and there's something that can't be ignored, and that's the reliability of the platform. I've definitely had guns in my past, inside of my military experience. I've definitely had a bunch of malfunctions. I've had some malfunctions up close and personal in the middle of gunfights that are super sketchy. When you come back to it, Vernon says it a lot, man, mental scar tissue lasts a lot longer than physical scar tissue, and it is so hard to come back from an operation where you've had a catastrophic malfunction inside of 6 feet getting shot at. It takes a long time to build that confidence back in the platform. I had them with the Colts, I had them with the 416s, and I honestly wish that I would have been running this. The only 2 guns I've ever had that have never malfunctioned whatsoever, this KEC and my BCM. That's it. Those are the only 2 platforms that I can honestly say I have fired 30,000 rounds plus through, no cleanings really. I don't really clean much anyway, and no malfunctions. Those 2, if I had to grab anything, it'd be those. I just really love this gun, man. I'm so thankful for Knight sending these things out all those years ago and letting us just really torture them to death. I mean, we asked the boys, what do you guys want? They're like, just beat the hell out of them. Unbiased feedback. Here's my unbiased feedback. I absolutely love this thing, dude. If you guys didn't change anything, I don't know how you could make it any better. But when they called and they said they had a new platform out and they wanted us to swap these out to try it, I'm totally down, man. I'm a true believer in Knights, and I couldn't be more appreciative of those guys letting us run them. Yeah, man, just, this is my build, dude. If I was king for a day and I could run any platform I wanted to with all the bells and whistles and everything, this is exactly what I would run. If I had to drop back into World War III tomorrow and suit it back up, this is the gun I'd carry. Absolutely impressive, dude. It's still dirtier than hell, and I wonder if they're gonna make me clean it before I send it back. Think I should? Nah, I ain't gonna clean it. Maybe I will. I'll show you guys how Jay cleans his gun. He's got a very particular way, and I think it's pretty interesting. I am gonna show you guys, if you guys look at all these chewed up marks on top of this rail, you'll notice my mod light head has been swapped out. That is because it was so hard to get that suppressor off. We did everything to it, including sacrificing the rail and a mod light. I think when I came back in here, Joey shattered the glass out of my mod light. This thing was all bent to hell. Still couldn't get the suppressor off. We soaked it, hit it with a blowtorch. We did everything and it wouldn't come off. And that was really just laziness on my part. Not breaking the threads after each use, making sure the suppressor actually came off. These little CQB cans, dude, they're super small. Not very heavy. That thing's sitting at 1 pound And I know 1 pound at the end of the gun might seem like a lot, but because the majority of the weight is sitting over the magazine well, you don't notice it. It almost helps it balance out a little bit more. Like right now in this configuration, it almost feels a little light up front. Now when you put on the suppressor, it really does feel really nice and balanced. I know this isn't your traditional blow-through can that I always talk about. The Hux works, SIG's got a blow-through can that I really dig. When we did all the testing not too long ago, this thing had almost less blowback than everything else. I think the only thing that was even comparable was the Hux works. All that gas is blown out of the front, and that's really what we're trying to avoid, is all that gas coming back up and now you have an inhalant. You know, when you shoot all day on the flat range, you're out with the boys doing CQB or whatever, and you get done and you got that huge black ring around your nose and just inhaling that, it's terribly toxic, and I don't recommend it for anybody. Spend the money, buy a decent can, man. Hux works, got some great stuff. SIG's got some really good flow through. But if you can get your hands on one of these bad boys, it's super short, and that's what I dig the most. If it's a purpose-built platform and it says it's designed for CQB, we can't have some 14-inch barrel and now you add on an 8 or a 10-inch can. It's just too long. It's just too hard to break down and compress to actually really run at full value, and that's why these things are super nice. Drop them on, lock them, bury it, and she's good to go. Don't have to mess around with any gas systems. There's no settings. There's nothing you have to change. Just pick the thing up and send it. You know, super cool for this thing, man. Honestly, man, I couldn't be more impressed just with how many rounds we put through it, with how much I beat the hell out of it, and then the no cleanings. I know they've got their own methods for cleaning. This is how many times, this is how many rounds, and blah, blah, blah. We don't do any of that. And I kind of broke my own rule. I said I wasn't going to clean until it malfunctioned, and it just went on too long. And the gun didn't even really slow down. If you just add some more lube to it, it's still running just as fast with 15,000 rounds, no cleaning, 20,000 rounds, minimal cleaning, just to wipe down. I threw a bore snake through it and I send it again. Yeah, man, it's been an absolute dream to shoot. But this is the end of an era, my friend. We got to break her all down, and I got to swap out for the new KS3s. Luckily for us, they just came in, and I am super excited to build that thing out. They promised me that I would love that gun more than I love this one. Proof is in the pudding. I just threw it on the scale. It's sitting right at 6 pounds, slick. The only thing I'm going to do is swap out the furniture. I'm going to drop the iron sights. I'm going to take everything on this gun and transfer it over to the new platform. They got a new suppressor out. We'll see what that thing looks like. Get on the flat range, start burning some rounds. I don't think we're really going to do a review until we're, 2,000-3,000 rounds into it. I'll beat the absolute hell out of it. We'll run all the standards, see how it's holding dope, and kind of go from there. But fellas, you ever get a chance to get your hands on a Knights, you will not be disappointed. You see one on a flat range, your buddy's got one, I highly encourage you to run a few mags through it, see what you think. But I will tell you, if you don't have the money to buy one, don't try it, because you will start selling stuff. You'll sell a kidney. If you are selling a kidney, please hit me up. I am in need of one. Yeah, last thing you want to do is start having to donate plasma to try to buy your KAC, but I will say it's definitely worth it. So for all those guys out there wondering, that's my dream build, man. That's the best carbine I've ever shot. KAC, thank you guys so much. All of you guys, more to come with new KS3s we're going to build out, but from me to you, that's my favorite rifle. See you boys on a flat range. Keep training. We'll talk soon.